What's up, you guys? We are 23 days away until Bonnaroo. Welcome to Story Time at the Rubus. My name is Shaina. You've probably heard me a handful of times, and I'm here with my two besties.
Sharla.
Hey guys, it's Daniel. So we're doing a bit of a remote bit this week because I'm traveling in Kansas City this week. Charlotte's back home in Huntsville. Shayna's with Abel in Chicago. You guys aren't seeing this, but Abel just jumped into frame on the Zoom call that we're all on.
He's notorious for wanting to be the star of the show.
You're going to have to explain this to people who don't see this right now. He's a cute little dog that looks like an Ewok.
Yeah, he is known for because I work from home a lot and I do meetings, he always perches his head up on my shoulder. And so anytime I do any work call or Zoom call, he just comes in and is like, hello, guys. Give me
Look
a
at him. He's laying on his back demanding belly rubs right now.
Yeah.
Wait, we're going to have a short episode this week and talk a little bit about prep. This is something that I think we can talk about for a moment. Like, Shayna, what do you do with Abel when you're traveling? Because we all have to deal with like our pets that are staying with somebody while we're gone.
So that's a great question. I'm fortunate that Abel kind of goes on a little doggy vacation and he stays with my mom and dad back in
Ooh,
southern Indiana. And so they have 2 acres of land on their house. And so they dog sit him. He gets to chase cows on the farm and
Oh,
run around. And so he has a super fun time. So I don't feel as bad as if I had to like board him or something.
yeah. We do something
oh,
similar. So we have the two Chihuahuas that stay with family. Is that what we're doing again this year?
well, they used to stay with family, and then last year I had to pay a dog sitter to come. I found this lady off Rover, and she's like the top rated person in Huntsville. But oh my God, y'all, it cost me $600.
Yeah.
What?
I would
Yeah,
rather than stay with your brother and his wife.
yeah. So
That's
this
ridiculous.
year I think we'll ask my brother to take care of my dogs because I mean, I can. It's just too much.
Well,
I
we could make a trade because when we pick Lacey up, we could drop the
True,
dogs off.
true. I think one year I took him to like a boarding place too. And when I went and picked up the dog, it was Derby. When I went and picked her up, oh my God, I'd never seen a dog so happy to see me in my life. It was
Aw.
bad.
She hated that prison you sent her to.
By that point, the dog was so old, she was blind and couldn't walk straight, and it was bad.
Oh
Just
no. I'm super meticulous about who watches my dog.
yeah,
Especially when I'm at Bonnaroo for almost a week, the last thing I want to be worrying about in the back of my mind is my dog okay? Did he run away, like getting off the leash? And so I'm glad he's with my mom and dad, people I trust, and that he
hmm
feels safe around. And so I don't have to worry about him the entire time.
Now, Ricky the cat, he has a little automatic feeder and water thing. He's
Yeah,
technically okay by himself, but I still like to pay some neighborhood kid to come check on him because he's very
right.
social and needs somebody to hang out with. So I got
Oh,
to do that.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about that kind of thing since we're less than a month out. We got a couple of things to get to. This is going to be a little bit of a mini episode since Charlotte and I had so much last week. Now, Shayna, you have been on some adventures I want to hear about first. You went to what show this past week?
Oh, I went and saw Porter Robinson and on his Smile tour in Chicago, and then we did a B2B Porter Robinson his afters DJ set. And wow, I'm not gonna cry again, but that was yesterday was like one of the greatest days of my life. And I also
Oh,
was just so excited. Like it was such a great show. I cried during it like 3 times, hugged all of my friends. Then we went to the DJ set and I was like, is this the same man that had me bawling my eyes out 2 hours ago? Like, what in the world? It was insane. He did a Bondadon or Dondadon mashup into Misery Business, and I lost my marbles. He also played Daft Punk, and I was losing my marbles. I was like, what is going on? And it just got me more and more excited for Bonnaroo. And like my friends I went with go to Electric Forest, and we were talking about how like that was just like a good tease to festivals of going straight to a show and then right into a DJ set. And it was a completely different vibe. Like, and it's something at Bonnaroo is like you'll go from one artist and then
yeah.
go to a different, completely other vibe. And that's how it felt like last night. It was so great. I had the time of my life, and all of my friends love Porter. Like my best friend Jeremy just flew to see Porter in Japan, as well as saw him in Seattle, Washington. And Jeremy's playing the Wednesday pre-party at Bonnaroo. Loves Porter. And so for me, a big thing about live music is getting to see my like best friend's favorite artist with them live. Like it just makes me so happy. And like getting to share that moment with them. And now he's gonna get to turn in like 3 weeks and go with me for glass animals, which he also loves. And I was like, now you'll get to see me cry again. Like it's gonna be
Yeah.
great. And so it was wow. I get it. I get it, Porter fans. I totally get it. Holy moly.
Yeah,
It,
I saw Porter twice a couple of years ago, so I saw a bit of that show at Rue, but saw most of it at Okeechobee. I guess it was 23. And yeah, I get it. What Porter does is very similar to Fred again, where it's not really so much a DJ, but like a one-man band situation.
yeah. And so at his show, because we went to the Smile Tour and it was at the Salt Shed, like that was his actual tour. And he played every single album that he's made. It was literally like set one, set two, set three within 2 hours. So I went on this entire emotional roller coaster journey and then like danced my heart out. And they're like, all right, now we're going to go see Porter's DJ set. And it was so crazy. He even mixed up Toxic by Britney Spears. He was playing everything. And I was just like, wow. Like, I have not been to a DJ set where the DJ has mixed so hard, so well, every genre of music. Like, he played even. My friend last night mentioned it. She's like, I wonder if he's gonna play like the scary bass, and then it was like wah 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 wah, and it was.
Well, that's awesome. I think Porter is due to return to the farm here in the next couple of years with that kind of show, especially since it came with such rave reviews from you. I trust it.
Absolutely. Like his DJ set from his show was completely different. And I get it because I've had some friends, and Maddie even mentioned to me earlier, he's like, I saw his DJ sets first. And I can see where there is such a difference. But I loved both. The DJ set, though, yeah, I would love both on the farm. If we could do
Yeah.
a Porter back to back DJ, live band, then DJ, I'd be there.
Get Porter to play the what, or not the what, but maybe the which, but then do the other, or maybe even Infinity, since it looks like it's going to stay around. I guess
Uh,
it might be a little too big for Infinity, though. He would have to go on the other.
maybe. I mean, they're having John Summit on the Infinity,
That's true. That's
and
true.
he's pretty big too. I don't know streaming wise who's larger, but like they're both really big in
Yeah.
retrospect.
Well, guys, I want to go through a little bit of some of the news that has dropped this past week and over the past couple of weeks. And if you want to hear anything about Bandana Gate, you guys should go listen to Ruham and the What. I think everybody has covered it extensively. There's nothing else to be said about any of that. But there was some other stuff that dropped this past week while I've been traveling. Now, I'm kind of hoping you guys can catch me up on it a little bit. So I saw that the maps dropped the other day. Was there anything that came to light to either of you about any changes or anything new or anything that's noticeable this year?
So there wasn't a whole lot on the map that had changed from previous years. The main thing on there is the placement of the Infinity stage. It looks like it's going to be back there where the Who stage used to be, where that silent disco used to be, back there in that far, far back corner over there. But that was really the main big gigantic thing on there. But other than that, there weren't a whole ton of changes on the maps from previous years.
Yeah, I kind of thought so too. But I did see some people talking online. Maybe it was on Facebook or Reddit or Discord. I don't know. They all mix together for me these days. But people were saying, like, oh, where's this? Why is this moved? Where is the tower? Things like that. I think we have to remind people that this isn't exactly like a two scale accurate map.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I wanted to point that out. Like the map is a graphic design kind of thing. It's not exactly 2 point pinpoint exact scale in line, like get out your ruler and measure it. Like the
Yeah.
map is just a little graphic design to give you a here's where this is, here's where that is. It's not meant to be take out your ruler and engineer it. Like
Yeah.
it's here's what it is. It's to give you an overview of what the farm is.
Some people had mentioned that they were seeing things were not at certain plazas, which I don't know if that's going to be fully true because, like, I have seen, we have like showers, mist tents, all those kind of things at Group and many other plazas as well. So just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it isn't going to be
Well,
there.
there was something brought up about ice and moon colony, and someone pointed out like there hadn't been ice and moon it was either Mars colony or moon colony. I'm not sure. There hadn't been ice in that in like a couple of years or something.
Really
I
interesting.
think it was Mars Colony because I saw some people mentioning that on Loophole and taking a look at the map, like it doesn't have ice listed right there.
Mhm.
So that does kind of pose that question of will they have ice or will they not? Because like I know back in 22, which they were still working out kinks then, but like we came in on Tuesday and I had to walk all the way from Group to Pod 2 to get ice
That's a bit
because
of a pain.
no other pod had ice on Tuesday at that time. And it was during the heat waves. It was brutal.
Oh
It was
wow.
rough. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's a fair critique because that is a big ask to get somebody to walk like 20 minutes to go get a bag of ice, you know.
Oh, it was an hour.
An
Oh,
hour?
I
Yeah,
was
that's
started in pod 5 and we went to 6, 7, 3, then 2. None of them had
jeez.
ice. Yeah, and my group camper that was with me was like smaller and shorter than I am, and she got overheated by the time we came back.
oh
This is
no.
insane. And I think that was maybe the first year, correct me if I'm wrong, but they brought in Tuesday entry. So hopefully that was something the kinks were worked out
Wow.
on. Let's not have ice in our
So a
spot.
little story. 2022, they didn't have, I think it was 22. We didn't do a group. It was the year that we parked in group, but we didn't have a group. They didn't have, I think it was that year. Don't quote me. They didn't have ice in the group plaza, but they had this random ass like one of those like little ice things that you'd see outside of a gas station
Oh yeah.
there, and it was locked most of the time. But every time a truck would come over there and fill it up, for whatever reason, it was right next to the bus. And every time a truck would come over there and fill it up, here would come Daniel around there. Hey, let me help you. And we'd
Yeah.
just grab an ice. He would help the guy, and so we would just get an ice thing from helping him. So
Yeah.
we kind
I
of had
would
to hook up a little bit.
I would sit there for 5 or 2 minutes and help them load it in and then be like, "Oh, you mind if I grab one?" They'd be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, sure. Thanks for the help." It was such a good little social hack.
Hey, that's the way to do it. Because yeah,
Yeah.
22 was it was rough. It was really bad.
Yeah, but hopefully they'll have more of those. Something I think we have to consider is it's going to be a full house. The campground is going to be absolutely full. So certainly they're thinking about like how do we get all of the right amenities to all these people that are going to be out there. It would be too big of an ask to get somebody to walk a damn hour like you had to, Shayna. That's kind of silly and inexcusable.
It was rough. It was so bad.
Something else I want to hit on too, the Jam Tracks thing came out the other day, and it looked like they're changing that pretty significantly. It's not going to make the whole round like it used to. It looks like it's pretty specifically meant to serve the people that are like way on out there, I guess on the other side of Bushy Branch to the north of it. Is that kind of what you guys got out of that too?
It looked like it was like picking it up at the toll booth entrances, which is odd, but also like last year we were where my group was at in camp was we were in the very back row and we were really close to the toll. Like I could see cars entering into camp at last year at Bonnaroo. It was
Yeah.
insane to me. So like in that retrospect, we were really close, I guess, to a toll jam track pickup. But I mean, in my full transparency, I don't know if it's because I don't have patience to wait or I have walked by the lines way too long. I've never used the jam track. Hopefully, I'll have patience or be able to time it out, but I've never been able to make it. I've just used my legs.
I have a few times when I know it's like blazingly hot and I would rather sit in the shade and wait on the train instead of like walking that route. But I think Charlotte, you've probably used it more than any of
So Eric Abel and I, fun story, were on the very first public jam tracks
them.
ever.
What?
Did they
Yes,
hit it with a champagne bottle and christen it?
they should have.
Yeah.
And it was a tour of Bonnaroo. I like to call it the Tour de Bonnaroo because it literally went to every single plaza. It went out in places that I've never seen in my entire life and will never see again. Um, it took us about an hour and we went all the way around. And I get why they're doing it the way that they're doing it this year. After seeing that, I get why they're doing it the way that they're
Yeah.
doing it this year. Because the way that Bonnaroo has sold this year, I don't think they could do it that way again. Like
Yeah.
legit, like it's just gonna have to hit the main like places. Like that's it.
You're
And
right.
I'm with you, Shayna, like no, like I I'm more of a walker. Like I can walk anywhere. Like I'm gone. Like I'm just me and you were on the same page with the
Yeah.
energy. Like I'm there. So it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, unless you truly like need the jam tracks, it doesn't bother me at all. So
You're kind of right though, because even when it wasn't a sold out year, it was kind of a pain to wait for it when you just wanted to go from one plaza to another plaza. So it never would have worked in this context anyway with a sold
like
out year.
even Brad on Festiverse, I think it was him, don't quote me, brought up a point like he had seen people waiting at the group plaza and like
Yeah.
it's not that far to the disco the Disco Tower entrance right there. I mean, it's really not that. I mean, you're gonna have. I hate to say it. I hate to be this guy, but you're gonna have to walk at Bonnaroo. It's a walking experience.
You mean somebody's not going to carry you on like one of those things where like there's four like bulked up guys with a chair or whatever?
What I don't know what it's called.
I forget. You know what I'm talking about though. I'm gonna get like me and Maddie and two other big dudes. We're gonna carry like each of you on one of those chairs where it's like on two poles. You got like four guys carrying it. You know what I'm talking about?
Just don't drop us. That's my only concern.
I mean,
At that point, I'm like, just throw me over your back or throw me in a wagon and drag me at that point.
But
was
for
too
real,
much walking.
you're right though. Like I think them making it a utility for the people that would have to walk like an hour to get to the gate, it is the right call.
I mean, if you truly have like a need for that, I mean, access at Bonnaroo.com. Like,
Yeah.
please reach out. I mean, that's what they're there for, literally. But I mean, it doesn't, I think the way that they're doing it, it's going to make it run better, I think, in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm still saying they should just put me in charge of it and I'd have it figured out. Because the only thing I could think of from like groups perspective is like where group camp is at, the farthest walk for us is where in the woods. And that's why for myself personally, like, if they had specific like maybe color coded jam tracks where it's like one that goes like maybe just from group straight to where in the woods and back. So like if you're a group camper, you get on this jam track and you can go to and from just that one spot. And then like other ones, but then again, like this is a process that would have to have multiple things. That would be my mindset. Because for me, I only go to Where in the Woods probably on Tuesday and usually Wednesdays. But with Wednesday now being in group, it's usually just one day after I'm leaving Centeroo and I'm like, oh, we're right by Where in the Woods. Let's just go right now. Versus let's go to camp and then come back because I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I like the idea of jam tracks, but I think the way that it has evolved to now is probably the best practice. I really wish we could have bikes at Bonnaroo like you can
Yeah.
at Halloween or
I don't trust people at Bonnaroo with bikes.
but I get why it's a safety issue, but I really wish we could figure out a way to make it happen so I
Look,
could ride a bike to Where in the Woods.
I trust people at Burning Man with bikes. I after what I after those after
Get it out.
2023, I do not trust people at Bonnaroo with bicycles.
Is this an
You get
option?
hit by a
Trust people
bicycle?
I don't trust people at Bonnaroo with cars, much less with bicycles.
Yeah, I would trust people more, I feel like, on a bike than I do a car. And that's saying a lot. I
Well,
wouldn't even put myself on a bicycle.
if you fall off a bike, it's only going to hurt once.
I saw somebody take some Bud Light and play bumper cars.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So, do I trust them with a bicycle? No.
Oh, God.
Not.
I did have one last thing, just looking at the map,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of confused. If you look at the Bonnaroo map, I'm hoping it's a typo because, like, when we do our loophole meetup, it's always the Who's Brews Pub. On the map, it says craft beer bar.
Yes.
Always said
Wait, what?
because it used to. Yeah, if you could pull up the actual Centeroo map, for those that have been Ruvians for a hot minute, it used to be the brewer's tent inside, like really Centeroo, like in the middle of it. They moved it a few years, I think 22, to the Who's Brews Pub. So it's after the Witch Stage. It's in between the Witch Stage and Infinity Stage, right to the right of the Platinum Lounge. Like that's where we always do our meetup. I was just staring at it, and it says craft beer bar. Normally the name is Who's Brews Pub, so I hope they didn't change the wording of it. But I just caught that while we were talking, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting."
Maybe
Why is
so.
why
We did ask Brad when he was on the show about a month ago if the beer tent, whatever you want to call it, would be there, and he said, "Yeah, maybe they've just rebranded it. I don't know."
I don't know because they did rebrand it from the Brewer's Tent to the Who's Brews Pub, which it's that same spot where it's at on the map. I'm just curious because now it says like the beer craft tent, which that's what it was before, but they gave it like a Bonnaroo name. So
Where's it even at?
if you look on the map, it's to the right of the Witch Stage and it's right beside the Platinum Lounge.
I see it. I'm looking at it now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Looks
where
like
we always have our meetup in that little tent area. But I just caught that while we were talking about it, that it's changed to craft beer bar. So it's interesting.
I just feel like they keep phasing that out.
And I don't like that.
Snip, snap, snip, snap.
What's next?
As
Never
I
mind.
have my Atlanta 96 Bud Light.
Your thrift store finds, man. One other thing that we should point out, I was pulling up the map to look at what Shaina was talking about, and just below that is the Planet Roo area. I think we can
Mhm.
talk about that since we're going to be in.
Nice.
That area is going to be much improved this year. It looks like they're showing on the map that there is actually a tent for the house stage. And I have heard, I don't
Yes.
think this is giving anything away that it shouldn't be. There's going to be some screens at the house stage as well.
That'd be so cool.
We talk about us.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's a good transition. So, like talking about totem stuff, since we're doing a remote episode this week, we won't necessarily call everybody out, but you know who you are. Thank you. You can be part of the Patreon at patreon.com/Rubus. But yeah, Charlotte, I know you want to talk about the totem tent, right?
Sure. So Totem is going to be at Planet Roo
Yes. Well,
in the
we've talked about
nonprofit village. Daniel.
I mean, yeah, I think we've talked about that before. So we're going to be there the whole time. In fact, we've been working internally to get a big schedule of our folks that are going to be there throughout the weekend. Thank you, Jax, for putting that together. All of us are going to be there for an hour or two apiece, but we're going to be staffing it the whole time. We're going to have a lot of activities where you can come hang out with us and learn what we're up to. And a lot of our mentors and mentees are going to be hanging out there. You can come meet them. Anything else I'm missing? We're going to have a lot of fun stuff going on
We
there.
have some amazing giveaways for our mentors, mentees, and our Patreons
Oh,
that we got
yes.
confirmed today.
Yeah. Do we want to spill that or do we need to wait?
No, no, we're going to
No.
wait.
Okay. It's going to be a
So
surprise.
we
But
just got it confirmed today, and I'm so, so, so excited. So if you're volunteering with us and you're a mentor, mentee, or a Patreon or donor,
you'll see. We got you something
you'll
good.
see.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm a mentor.
But you're on the
We
board,
got
so
you something.
Oh, never mind. I was like, wait, what?
We'll tell you later. We got something good for everybody.
I will say to everyone listening, though, please come stop by the booth because we have been planning and working so hard, and we have such cool stuff we're going to have. I cannot wait. I'm working the booth Saturday and Sunday. Just PSA, come hang out with me because I
Oh,
will.
so
And it's
you
going to
can
be so great.
you conspired with Scholar to get all of that stuff ordered that we're going to have at the booth, right?
Yes, so she called, well, she did the entire order, and then I helped as the treasurer side to do the financial piece so we could process the order.
All that stuff showed up on mine and Charlotte's doorstep last week and filled up the entire porch with Amazon boxes. It was ridiculous. We
You
have it
guys,
all.
did you
Yeah,
get a photo of
Bus
it?
I
is
should have.
absolutely full of Totem stuff for the booth. So please, 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 please stop by the Totem booth in Planet Roo because you're going to have the most fun that you've ever had in your entire life.
Yeah, I kind of
We
don't
have
want to
so much
spoil
fun
it.
and get so much cool free stuff. I know we've got stickers placed on order. There's so much stuff we'll have. And who doesn't love free stuff? Come on.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you for bringing that up, Charlotte. I think that'll be our totem plug for this week. Those of you that are Patreons, you know who you are. We'll return to regularly scheduled programming next week where we'll call everyone out. All right. So I wanted to transition in the second half to talk about prep and planning because 'tis the season. We're like, what, 3 or 4 weeks out, depending on when you're listening to this. So you two ladies are good to talk about this kind of thing because Charlotte is one of the mods of the Bonnaroo Reddit, and Shaina, you're one of the main head honchos with Loophole to Reality. So I want to hear from each of you, like, what are the main questions that people are asking right now? Besides, I tightened my wristband too much.
What I'm seeing, I'm also laughing right now just because we're talking about planning. I'm going to totally out myself. As a group leader, I had a planning call at noon today that I totally missed because of Porter. So,
No.
pro tip number one, if you're a group leader, actually schedule your times to where you can make it. Thank you, Dakota, for taking over that for me. On the loophole, what I'm seeing right now is it hits a trend of, yeah, I tightened my wristband too tight. However, there's also been an increase of where people's wristband packages like were arriving empty or with tire marks written, like ripped over them. And I can say because like I had a wristband delivered to my place for Jeremy. They literally just barely put it under the rug, and it was the day that we were having a dust storm in Chicago. If I was not home, that would have blown away.
Jeez.
So that's a huge concern for me. Is like not that I'm trying to dog on it, but like even the packaging was like cheaper this year too. And I get it, it's like probably less expensive, but like a lot of people have been bringing that up on Loophole of like, my package was my wristband's missing. What do I do? And so now there's a big fear that will call is going to be
Yeah.
insane. And so now
Yeah.
like people are joking of, hey, the official pre-party is that will call because everyone has to go.
Oh, you're right. I've been thinking about that too. Like it would be interesting to know like what percentage of people had their wristbands screwed up because I do think it's going to be an overflow crowd over there at that high school where everybody has to go pick that kind of stuff up. Hopefully it'll be spread out over Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But yeah, it legitimately is going to be a problem. Charlotte, have you been seeing that on the Reddit as well?
It's same exact stuff. Like, and I think a lot of it stems from people posting their wristband, people getting their wristbands, earlier and earlier and earlier, and people posting them and people freaking out because they haven't gotten their wristbands yet. And as we all know, those are shipped out in batches, and there's no reason, rhyme, order that the wristbands get shipped out in. They're just shipped out completely randomly. Nobody knows why. And if you haven't gotten your wristband yet, if you haven't gotten even shipping for your wristband, you're totally fine. I wouldn't start freaking out yet until June. And even then, I wouldn't start freaking out because you can always go to will call. And we had someone go to risk. We've had people, let me back up. We've had people go to risk will call the past 2 years, and it's taken 5 minutes. I even went to will call myself last year. It took 5 minutes. It took 5 minutes, even though they had to call somebody, look somebody up, do a whole email process. It still took like 5 minutes. It was fine. It was a breeze. Like will call is nothing. I mean, they have a whole process. They're like, do, you're in and you're out. I would not panic about will call at all. I mean, they are down to a science at will call. Would not panic about that whatsoever. But I think it all stems down to people are posting their wristbands that they've gotten in the mail, and other people are seeing that and, oh my God, I haven't gotten mine yet. I haven't gotten my shipping tracking. I haven't gotten the tracking. I haven't seen it. What do I do? What am I doing wrong? Da, da, da. You can always log into your account, go to the Bonnaroo website, go to the Front Gate website, go to the links, log into that, see what you bought, see what's up with your wristband, check that out. You can always log into that and you're good. You're golden. I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't stress over it until it gets June time. And even then, don't freak out about it because you can always just pick it up when you get there. It's not a problem whatsoever. Now, I will say, I ordered a student ticket. I ordered this student discount with Lacey's wristband using a .edu email,
I did
and
not know
hers
that.
did not come with the little folded over flap unsealed like everybody else's did. Hers came with one of those pull tabs, which was like crazy. Like I haven't seen anybody else's have that, but hers came with one of those like pull tabs that you actually pull off.
Interesting.
Yes, and it was like tight ass. Like it came with a pull tab. So I don't
How was
know.
so our wristbands came in while I've been on the road for work. How was ours when they came in their envelope? Was it sealed shut?
I wouldn't say it was 100%, but they were fine. They were like, I would give it like a 90%, but yeah,
Oh,
they were okay.
I feel like those of us that got them intact, they got there by the grace of God because it's barely like somebody spit on it to hold it together or something. I don't know.
It was like somebody used a glue stick. Somebody didn't use Crayola, they used Rose Art.
Well, I'm glad they put that $15 a ticket for shipping and handling to good use. Goodness.
Right.
I think that's a legitimate critique, just to be honest. All right,
Mhm.
guys. So we're getting close. So Shaina, I'm going to rely on you for advice on this because Sharla and I can just pack everything into a bus and have it ready to go. How's everything going for your packing? What would you suggest to people for packing at this point? What do they need to be going through?
Well, at this point, I would strongly recommend, like, if you are a returning like camping festival person, get your camping gear out, test it, set it up, make sure it works. Get your coolers out, get those ready and get them checked. If you're a new time like festival camping person that's going, make sure you're going through these checklists. And if you are new, open your stuff out of the packages. Don't keep it brand new in the package and decide to open it on the farm. Try and set it up then, because I can reassure you, especially tents, they come so pre-packed into those bags. It's a challenge to get it back in. So be buying those things now and check it out. Like for myself, I had to go through my own inventory of like what did I need last year from camping festivals. So something I had to buy was like um tapestry clips for my group and like getting shade tents and trying to figure out what's going to work best as well as like meals. And so getting those things ready and try to prioritize, budgeting what you need to do. What things can you be buying now for Bonnaroo and what things do you have to wait to buy? Because like myself, I usually buy like alcohol last, very last. I do my grocery runs the night before I leave, sometimes the morning of.
Oh,
And then I stop and get my beer and alcohol like right on that Indiana Kentucky line because I learned the hard way I will not buy alcohol in Tennessee ever again because it's such a pain in my back to do so. Ugh,
ooh,
such a
good
pain.
advice there. Yeah.
Yeah, don't do Tennessee. I learned the hard way of, I was from Southern Indiana where we do sell beer and liquor in our Walmart. And when I went there, you would have thought like I asked the staff member if they had like found like a murderer or something. It's like, we not beer alcohol in this store. What do you mean? And I was like, okay, well, whatever, Walmart, get out of here.
No,
So
Kentucky's where you want to get it. That's where it's cheap.
it's super cheap, yeah. And I will give a PSA for all my friends that are in the Midwest that do drive. Be careful going through Kentucky. I've been driving around this whole area of Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia a lot this last 2 months, and Kentucky cops have been on it nonstop. Anytime going to Bonnaroo, that is where I've seen cops the most, besides running into Manchester, Tennessee.
I think that might be one of the last things to talk about in terms of prep tonight is being safe on the interstates on the last couple of legs before you get to Manchester. We talk about this all the time on Facebook and Reddit and Discord and things, but maybe we don't so much on this podcast. Now, we're not going to advocate for anything one way or another, but as you come through those last couple of legs, you got to be coming in like you're going to grandma's after church on Sunday. Like, don't overly dress like a wook. Don't write things on your window. Don't have anything hanging from the rear view mirror. Drive about 5 miles an hour under the speed limit. Don't look at them sideways because they're looking for a reason to pull you over. Now, Sharla, I saw you had something on that front.
Oh, I was just going to say, I agree with Shaina about taking stuff out of the packaging. And in fact, that's what I've been doing for our totem scholars. I went through and I took a lot of their stuff out of the package because I don't want to take trash to the farm.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's not because I think that they'll return it. I mean, I don't care what they do with it. It's theirs to keep, but I don't want to take all that extra trash to the farm. So if you buy something new, take it out of the package, please, because we don't want to trash up the farm. Just take it out of its package and put it in your trunk or put it in your back seat, whatever.
Yeah, very true. I've been doing the same thing, Charlotte, getting rid of some of the packaging and cardboard from all of our totem supplies. That's a very good point. And it can save you a lot of room once you're traveling, too.
Exactly.
That's something I would point out to newbies as well. It is not as hard to play Tetris to get things there. It's going to be a lot harder to repack things when you come back home. That's why a lot of stuff gets left on the grounds as ground scores. And, they do a good job to have kind of like a fire sale with all that extra stuff after Bonnaroo. And a lot of people will find those ground scores and take things home. But you will see as you leave Monday morning, so much junk gets left behind. And it really is kind of embarrassing. I think we all collectively need to work on that.
At the gear closet out of Chattanooga, don't quote me, comes by and collects everything and has a sale after the volunteers go through and pick up all the trash and stuff. They have a sale for all of the leftover camping supplies. But it was so funny. Josh Wenzel, out of our group, he said that he went to the bathroom one Monday morning and he came back and some wooks had tried to take his stuff.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I guess you have to be careful about what actually is a ground score or isn't.
True.
That's interesting. Yeah.
That's like in our neighborhood, people put out stuff and I'm like, I don't want to take this because I don't know if some kid just left it here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like posting up, did somebody take my kid's bike?
Yeah, I've seen those on Nextdoor, man. If you want to see neighborhood anarchy, look on Nextdoor. There's always some kind of crazy drama happening there.
Anyways, back to Bonnaroo.
That's crazy. I think a tip I'd also add as we were talking about driving in is I've done it for years. I know some have countered on it. Whenever you are packing your car, make sure that your rear view mirror and your back window, you can see out of it. Because I was able over back in 2018 in Kentucky, and the officer like just gave me a warning of something of a light, but had mentioned, hey, if you have an obstruction of view, you need to have a clear line of sight of your rear view mirror and to see out of your back window.
Yep.
So I always pack my car, the back of it, as Tetris, but basically making a U shape in the back so that there's a clear line of path from that mirror there. So that way I can see, because it can be tricky. And like I pack my stuff in totes based upon like camping gear and kitchen stuff and decorations. So it's all in one bin versus just like thrown in random bags. I try to condense it down as much as I can.
Yeah. That's some good advice. I agree. Yeah.
We got pulled over one year going to Bonnaroo, and they thought Brooklyn was our kid.
Everybody always asks, does the bus get pulled over?
Yeah.
That was the only time.
No, and then he thought it was so cool. He gave us a whole escort through town. That was in
Yeah.
Winchester, Tennessee.
Yeah. And he only stopped because that was before I had the fuel pump replaced and we were kind of having a
That's the
hard
whole
time.
plan.
And he was just asking if we need help. That was literally it. And he was like, hey, this thing's cool. You need a hand? That was it. He never asked for like my ID even. He was like, well, it's clear where you're going. I'm not going to worry
How
about
many
it.
kids you got in there?
Yeah. Did I say like just the one? I don't even remember.
No.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But yeah, everybody always asks me that. That's the only time. And he wasn't pulling us over for the reasons that you would think.
No, then we got pulled over and about 2 hours later, and that guy was just annoyed.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Long story. We'll share that sometime.
That's interesting. So do you guys have a lot of like, oh, I'm usually going through the tolls. I don't have much trouble, but like having to jump out of the car, open all the doors. They make you open the back of the bus hatch
So
through.
we've got, come on in. And then we've also got, get the out. We're calling the dogs.
Yeah.
I need to see your government ID.
What?
Now, most of the time, they're cool. And I will be fully transparent. We come in backstage because we're a weird situation. We don't go to the RV section. We go to groups, so we have to have an escort to bring us through. And this year, we have to drop the totem stuff off at the booth. So we come in that way, but we still go through the same security process. And it's always odd because I have to tell them, hey, man, I can't really cut this thing off. Like it'll be a process to like crank it back up because I manually have to pop the hood and reach down in there and twist this little thing to make it go off. And then I have to cut the electricity. I mean, this thing is an 89 bus, so there's a lot of weird things about it. And then, there's always a rigmarole like, hey, what is this? Where is it going? And then somebody is inevitably like, oh, it's the Roo bus. I know where they go. And they help us out. We go through the same song and dance every year. One year, we went through the marshaling yard. And there was a Tennessee state trooper that was the jerkiest jerk that ever jerked. As soon as we got out, he was just like, all right, man, where is it? Just tell me where it is. Let's get it over with.
What?
Yeah.
No, okay, no. Our buddy Joseph, who's never been to a festival in his life, who's explain Joseph to the
Joseph is kind of like a Mr. Rogers type. He's always very kind and a sweet guy. He works in education, so he's like somebody that's very patient. But he also can rage with the best of them, But when you see him in person, you would just never be under the assumption this is never anybody that's going to cause anybody any harm or trouble. And this guy that was the jerky state trooper goes directly to him and starts hassling him, and I have to intervene. And I was kind of like being jokey.
Where's it at?
Yeah. I came in and I was like being goofy and trying to like make everybody laugh to like de-escalate the situation. Man, that was tough. I'm glad we don't have to deal with that type very often.
No, usually I've had pretty good like staff at the tolls and stuff. I've never had anyone like hassle me, but I always get so anxious going through. I'm like, okay, they're just gonna like make me cry. And they don't. They're always usually very nice, very helpful. And they see my car, like, because I open all the doors and they'll pull some things out. And I always tell them, like, you're welcome to go through whatever, but all I ask is like, please pack it back up for me because like I'm just a girl and that took me fucking 5 hours to pack this car by myself. I'm not doing it again.
Somebody on Reddit said they had to pull their socks apart.
Wow.
Jeez, man.
No, I think the worst thing I ever had was like 22. We forgot and got a glass jar of pickles, and it was actually an error on our end. We're like, well, we're gonna keep them. We had like a little tiny like roll-on cooler. We just dumped them all in that cooler and forgot about it until Sunday. And I opened it and I was like, oh my God.
Not the pickles.
It was it was awful. Like we gave some of the volunteers some, like, you guys want a pickle? Like, we're not gonna throw them away. We're gonna put them in this cooler. And then we forgot about it the entire time. Needless to say, we left that cooler at Bonnaroo.
I think we have a lot of these stories we can share. Well, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up here in a minute because our listeners won't see it, but you guys may have seen it on our Zoom video. There's a nasty storm rolling into Kansas City right now.
Is there? Because there's nothing here.
Well, there is up here where I'm at.
I'm in a bus.
This has been crazy. Chicago had a fire warning, tornado warning.
That.
Look, Chicago has everything.
Like, what's going on? Like, I hope that this weather just stays respectfully here, and like we have great weather for Bonnaroo.
Look, I'm trying to come to Chicago, man.
Yeah. We'll make it up there and come hang. But
yeah, come before I move.
The internet has been spotty at the hotel. I'm saying that, so I'm expecting it'll go out any minute since we have a monster storm rolling through Kansas City up here any minute.
Already been there minutes.
Kansas City's pretty cool. So I want to give a shout out to
Chicago. It's not Kansas City.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we stayed a night here, but we didn't even do anything. But I do want to give a shout out to Dan from the Routine Clan, who showed me around with his buddies last night. We went to this really cool arcade bar, In Out, I think was the name of it, and then a speakeasy where it looked like we were in the Illuminati downstairs at this place and a couple other cool places. I got to really see a cool side of Kansas City. I've come to love this town. So shout out again to Dan from the Routine Clan and his buddies for showing me around. I had a blast. It's been fun up here, but I am ready to have an anniversary trip with me and Sharla and then get to Bonnaroo here in just a little less than a month. Yeah, happy anniversary, Sharla. That's tomorrow, technically.
Aww.
We're going to celebrate it at the beach.
Yes. No, it's not. It's in 2 days.
Uh-oh, did I get it wrong?
Yes, you did.
Uh-oh. Well, I was well, we'll celebrate it next weekend at the beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got to witness this moment with you guys.
Yeah. Dana, thanks for jumping in with us. I wanted to hear how everything was going on the loophole side. And honestly, I just wanted to catch up with you because I hadn't seen you in a minute. But,
I know. We kept seeing each other all the time. No,
I know. Well, I'll see you again in 3 weeks or so at a farm if you want
soon.
to. Yeah. All right. Charlotte, I'll be home tomorrow. Everybody else, get out there and radiate positivity. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
I'll keep this long story short.